I used to be the laziest person I knew. I used to spend 8+ hours every single day playing video games, browsing forums, and watching YouTube. That was my life. It was my life for all of high school, college, and my first few full-time jobs. And then I got depressed, and that really wasn't a lot of fun. But while battling that depression, I watched a lot of Elliot Hulse, and I remember he was always recommending starting the day with audiobooks rather than social media. At first, I didn't really take his advice so seriously, and it took about 10 recommendations from him before I just had it with all the bad feelings, so I took the plunge. And a year later, I had read and listened to more than 20 books, and I used those to kind of completely rewire how my brain worked. By that, I mean I finally started the YouTube channel that I always wanted. I'm in the best shape that I've ever been, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. Out of everything I've read, perhaps the single best piece of advice I've received is to set clear and measurable goals, and to write those goals in a notebook and review them every single morning. It's so easy, so simple, yet I was never really taught to do this in school or by anybody. I got inspired to start doing this after listening to Brian Tracy, who's changed my life in so many different ways. And I kept doing it after listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography, who attributes goal setting to one of the secrets to his massive success. So how and why does it work? Let's say you're learning Japanese, for example, and setting a goal like get fluent in Japanese in X years is very common, but it's not so easy to measure. In fact, there's no clear goal line when it comes to fluency, so it's going to be really hard to track your progress. Try this instead. I will read so-and-so Japanese course, book, manga series, or novel by and then you give yourself a reasonable deadline. You make it a race against yourself to beat that deadline. Just make sure it's not too crazy difficult, especially if it's your first time writing down goals. And since the goal is just to read one book or one series of books in Japanese, you can use the number of pages that you read every single day to track your progress. And you'll know exactly when you've beaten that goal when you clear that final page. At that point, you'll be better at Japanese, feel good about yourself, and be more motivated to take on more goals. But what if you don't meet that deadline? It simply means that you chose a time frame too short, and so you learn from that mistake, and then you make a new deadline that is more doable. Now, these goals don't have any real impact unless you review them every morning. Read them aloud and try to picture the end result in your mind. Take just a second just to visualize how you'll feel after accomplishing that goal. By doing this, you plant a seed in your subconscious mind that will start to begin to process how you're going to make your goals a reality. It will slowly begin to break down the steps required, and it'll send you into an upward spiral of thinking and planning. But of course, getting started is always the hardest part. Every time we think about reading an entire book in Japanese, our brains are going to resist. It's going to flood our heads with all kinds of fears, and it's going to do whatever it can to convince ourselves that we can't do it. There is a simple trick, however, that makes life a whole lot less stressful. Don't think about reading the entire book. Just open it up and read the very first word. That's it. If you can do just that, then congratulations, because you just did the hardest part. Now all you have to do is read the second word, and then the third word, and so on. It really works, and anytime you get frustrated or distracted, all you have to do is think about reading just one word. The same technique can be applied to writing or doing any kind of work at all. You break down large tasks into the smallest possible step that you could do, and then only think about doing that. So in the end, it all boils down to how you start your day. If you choose to start it with YouTube or Twitch or Reddit, you're gonna find that your brain gets stuck in this reactive mode where it's always seeking what's new or trending. Or you're stuck in this loop where you're replying to other people's messages all day. Or you're just unable to focus on your most important tasks because you get stupid notifications on your phone every 5 to 10 minutes. And you know what? I know how hard it is personally to make these better choices, especially when you're, half asleep in the morning. It's a real fight. And I understand that this one little video is probably not going to be enough to cure everybody of laziness. So that's why I recommend listening to the man himself, Brian Tracy. I've recommended Eat That Frog before, but now after listening to Maximum Achievement for the 5th time, I'm convinced it's the better book. And if you're new to audiobooks, you can get both of these for free through Audible's free trial. I'll throw some links down in the description box below. And as always, thanks for watching.